morning and welcome to the far side to all of our live viewers and those who will join and watch the replay. We're excited to have you here as we celebrate National Poetry month of April. Also, it's National School Libraries Month, so shout out to all of those amazing elementary, middle school, and high school and of course, our academic librarians who I call colleagues and friends as well, those public librarians and all of those who do the service and work of librarianship. We want to shout you out in School Library Month. And it is also Drop Everything and Read Month. So we want you to take the time, drop your laundry, you know, turn down the stove, all of those things, and pick up a good book and read. And we're going to introduce you to an amazing author who's well established, and we're excited to have her here on the far side. Miss Colleen Tews. She's a writer of urban fantasy novels in the Vampire Vixen series. This first book that we're going to discuss is Birth of a Vixen. And the second book in this series, Virus Within, debuts this month, if it hasn't already. And she also writes paranormal romance books. So, Dream of the Prophet trilogy, book one is titled Awakening, and book two is set to launch in September of 2023, and it's titled Oathbreaker. And she has a witchy paranormal thriller that debuted April 18th. So just this past Tuesday, Onyx was revealed and launched. So we're excited to welcome Miss Colleen Tews to the far side. Welcome, Colleen.
Hi, thank you for having me.
We're
It's nice to
excited to
meet you.
have you here today, this evening. So, who is Colleen Tews, the author? We know that you're like urban fantasy, paranormal romance, all of those in that genre, that vein. But who are you as an author?
Well, as an author, I'm a fan. I'm a reader. I love to just indulge everything that is books.
Well, that look, that readers are leaders. So
Mm.
what? So no, there's no what do you find yourself reading or going to? What are your go-tos when you read for your own pleasure and enjoyment?
Oh, I read everything from biographies to urban fantasy that I write, to um, fantasies themselves. But the only thing I don't read are historical romances. But everything else, I'm there.
All right. So what brought you into writing specifically, in the urban fantasy genre?
Well, I think it all had to do with my teenage years. I was reading early L.J. Smith with the Vampire Diaries and the Secret Circle, and then going into Laurel K. Hamilton in high school, and I just fell in love.
And here you are, you're writing writing in the process, writing a series with,
Mm-hmm.
this, what we're talking about this evening, Birth of a Vixen is being book one, and then that one follows up with another one. Um, did you know at the onset of writing, Birth of a Vixen, that it would become a series? Was that something you set out to do?
Yeah, I planned it out from the get go. I'm looking at like 9, 10 books possibly. Um, I just have this vivid story to tell, and it's huge.
So how will you determine, the end when like, okay, this is where this story is gonna stop. Especially you got book two coming out soon. So what makes you say, okay, this is a good stopping point, for the story or for the series?
Well, I actually have the ending already thought out. It's just getting to it through the other books that make cause some difficulty, but it's difficulty that I love to put myself through.
Okay, so for our Fireside viewers and those who are watching live and those who will watch by the replay, we're live with author Colleen Tews talking about the first book in her Vampire Vixen series, Birth of a Vixen, which is, the cover is fire and the title definitely is a draw in. The book opens with kind of a memory struggle, as if character Angela, is trying to remember what happened the night before and not remember what happened at the same time.
Mhm.
Does this lapse in memory play a major role in normal functioning? And will her life ever return to, what it once was?
um, it plays a major functioning in the first book.
Okay.
Um, because at that time she's actually being possessed. The memory lapses are when she's being possessed by her sire, Thais. Um, so she tries to keep a diary um, of herself so that way she can fall back on, okay, well, what happened last time I was in charge? um, and Thais is supposed to put her input in there as well. But as we see in the book, she fails to do so and does something else.
With any splendid story, the setting plays a key role in telling, the story and supporting the characters. Um, what is the significance of the beginning in the children's ward of a hospital?
I wanted to show the exact opposite of what our main character would do, the exact opposite of what Angela is, to see what she's been up against. Um, and to see that she is, even though she's a vampire, she has emotions, she has guilt, she has a conscience. And for her to see what happens is heartbreaking for her. And I hope that the reader would want to see her overcome what Thais does to people and just gives her another drive in order to hopefully be rid of her sire for good.
Okay, so without kind of giving the story away, can you provide our live and replay viewers with kind of the premise of Birth of a Vixen in the series?
Sure. Birth of a Vixen is kind of like a coming of age story for a vampire. It's it's Angela realizing that her human self is no more, but that she is in fact a vampire and has to deal with life now as this new creature, as this new being, this new person. Um, there's a lot of strife that she has to go through in order to get there. Lots of loss that she will have to overcome, and she will have to rediscover every single facet of herself. It's it's an ongoing theme throughout the books where she has to really dig down inside herself in order to find who she is and what defines her.
So how do you, as an author, connect with this character? Do you see parts of yourself in Angela? Um, or, this was something, you just that was just birthed from imagination, or do you really have a connection, you know, to your characters in kind of a personal way?
Oh yeah, I truly connect with this character. I've been down the rabbit hole of trauma and PTSD, and just having to come out the other side has been um, a struggle for me, where it's finding out who, rediscovering who I am, what this new um, parameters that I have
Mm-hmm.
in my life, these new boundaries. Um, I've had years of therapy, thankfully, and I've come out the other side. I've gone so far as to even question my faith, not so much religion, but my actual faith in myself and in the world around
Mm-hmm.
me, the universe. And I can really connect with Angela that way.
So her paths and her struggles are, you can see you can see yourself in it, have experienced some of the things um yourself, so that brings, I mean, a deeper meaning, um to the depth of the character, when readers can tell by the writing, okay, she really went into depth and really developed the characters in this story. So, thank you for, your transparency and, your vulnerability to even talk about that connection um, in that way. So, definitely appreciate you for that. Um, Now, there's this part like early on in the book where she's in the back of a Winnebago watching a familiar film, and I mean, of course, it's a classic. It's a classic film. It's like I know I watch it when it comes on, whenever it pops up. I have to watch that particular film because I feel it's a classic. Um,
It
Only
is.
as still is, right? So anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, okay, that's another plug to pick up Birth of a Vixen, so you can find out what this movie is that the character is watching in the back of this Winnebago. And so she's watching this familiar film only for it to become kind of a recap of, it kind of intercepts something, comes like a mixed signal, so to speak, where the movie that she was watching gets interrupted, you know, by almost like a recap or replay of the events, that happened before, and so it's like she's watching not what she intended, um, but something else, so how does that kind of play into her, you know, mental status in processing, um just to see and then hearing the voices of how, okay, this is what you did, this is what happened, you know
Well, it ruins her coping mechanism. It really does. It To be honest, when I sat down and wrote that scene, I had nothing in mind. I'm like, you know what? I need to sit down and write a scene that is really going to jump out at people. And I scared myself.
because I'm serious, when I started reading that part, I was like on edge, because I'm like, okay, wait a minute, she's just watching, like, because you're at home, you got TV, you got the remote, you got your snacks and all that kind of stuff. You're binging a
You're in your
series,
comfy
or
zone.
watching your favorite movie, and then for something else, it sounds like something like from The Exorcist, or from that it's like one of the horror films where the TV is on, and then it goes to something, something else, another scene pops up, and so that's how it appeared, in the book. So you actually kind of, you really can visualize, okay,
Good.
she's
I'm
up here
so glad it
watching
came
this.
across.
It definitely came across. So you can see her, okay, back of this Winnebago. Okay, so for our younger viewers who have no idea what a Winnebago is, you know, Google it, okay? Google it. Look for a classic model, because your parents maybe, or your grandparents actually know what it is. Best road trip vehicle ever
Oh
with a
yeah.
bunch of friends, especially during the college days. Best road trip vehicle ever. But she's in the back of this Winnebago watching, the events unfold. And so I definitely got to check it out. Drop everything you're using and check this out. Definitely, you got to check this out. So with, her, you know, and that draws you in. That whole scene is like a real drawing card. Um,
Now you're gonna make me
now,
blush.
really, yeah, it was. So, how did Angela find herself or end up in this El Diablo Sibo?
She was wandering. She was like the rest of the group. She was wandering, and they took her in. It was a matter of lost souls finding other lost souls, and once they realized that Theus, was a part of Angela, they were like, "This is gold. We have to have her in our team." So they
Okay,
pretty much
so
do like a tool.
okay, so so as readers pick up this series and kind of follow you know Angela through her you know through this journey of discovery and challenge and finding self. um is there is will the readers see is that something that is going to be way down towards book 9, or will we see glimpses like kind of maybe midway, or how will hope for Angela of life reclaiming you know who she is or who she feels she's supposed to be. um will
We
the
will
readers
see,
eventually see that?
yeah, we'll see glimpses of it here and there. Because I
Mhm.
mean, otherwise it's all too dark. You need the upside to give yourself hope,
Mhm.
and to know that the bad days won't last. That there is, you know, a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And so there are glimpses in every book, and it gets bigger with every book, with more of a true definition as to who she becomes.
And of course, I mean, you already said that, this is kind of a coming of age, you know, book. And if you think about, where you were, during your teenage years and the questions and the trying to figure just the basics of life and coming into your own thinking for yourself and being more independent, um, and making one's own life choices and decisions. We see that Angela, she's got a compass. She's got her compass of, okay, what she feels and knows to be right and wrong, as she
Mhm.
right and wrong. um Even though a lot of what she has done or found herself being involved with has been on the wrong side of things. It seems like she's trying to right the bad stuff. um and it's like she's having some kind of out of body um experience. Um so will she come to herself, so to speak? Is she able to, right some of the wrongs, or are some of the things that she's done too far gone that will never be fixed?
Um, there will be some things that will never be able to be fixed. And she'll have to learn to accept that. And learning to accept can be one of the hardest lessons we can learn. Um, but there are some things that she will do her best at making right. Um, but even then, sometimes, the best of intentions can lead down a dark path.
So having completed book one is out there, and then you've got book two um that's has unveiled or is unveiling this month.
It'll come out the 23rd of next month.
23rd of next month. Okay. So we've got that to look forward to. So the month is not over. This is Dropping Everything and Read month. Again, to those who are watching live and those who will watch by replay. All right, we're definitely going to pick up the second book in the series, Virus Within. So you've got time to drop everything and read to pick up this first in the Vampire Vixen series. And so you've got another, you're on a roll with this writing thing, seriously. Yeah,
I
it's
am.
like
I feel the momentum is just
the
going.
creativity is flowing, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you've got a paranormal thriller um, that was debuting, a witchy paranormal thriller debuting, Onyx. So can
Mhm.
you tell us a little bit about Onyx?
Onyx is about a city of witches. And the main character, Raven Sinclair, she did not like growing up the way she did, which was, in this town full of mystical arts performers and practitioners. And so she moved away. She went to New York to live and to try to find her dreams and everything. And about a decade later, her sister Onyx is murdered. So she has to come back home for her sister's funeral, but she stays to catch a killer.
Wow. Okay. So drop everything and read and make sure our to be read list, your TBR list, is growing at the moment. With each moment that we speak, your our live viewers, those who will catch the replay, your TBR list is growing. And definitely add this to the list and add it to the shelf. Okay. So we've got the Vampire Vixen series with the second book in the series coming out soon. And then you've got um, Onyx, which is a paranormal thriller, a witchy paranormal thriller coming out as well. So be on the lookout for those books. So, Colleen, do you feel that you found your niche in fantasy, or are there other genres that you're interested in giving your voice to?
I think I found my niche. It's just the right amount of fantasy for me to live into.
Often, like when there's a series, characters move in out from book to book as new characters, new plot twists, and stories are introduced. So, have you been able to maintain a consistency, with your stories and character development, within a series, and help, maintain the connection readers may have developed, you know, with those characters, like from book one?
It's it's hard. It's very hard. In fact, writing the sequel, Virus Within, was a lot harder than writing Birth of a Vixen for me. Um, I I had actually written down short stories of the some of the minor characters in the Vampire Vixen series to help me understand them better. uh, to flesh them out for myself and hopefully for the readers as well. So
So
I
what
know.
are maybe, yeah. So you have kind of like a mapping, um, so so you have the minor characters that are part of, the ongoing story, so I think that really helps to have you kind of a guide.
Yeah, yeah, it,
So
it
what
it helps a
mhm.
lot.
So what are some things, two things you think or hope that readers will think about or take away from, Birth of a Vixen, as we're dropping everything and reading this month. This is our read for the month.
Two things that I would like readers to come away with would be one, I want the next book.
Definitely, definitely.
Definitely. And two, just to have an escape for a little while. I'd want them to be able to take a few moments out of their day and or hours and just escape reality for a little while.
And that's considering all of the things that are happening in the world, wherever you are. I'm here in the DMV, known as DC, Maryland, Virginia region. So there's always something happening, especially um, down around 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So, having a
Again.
little escape route is nice.
Yeah.
It's when you hear, look at the cycles of news reports and, some mostly bad versus good. So it's nice to have something that you can go to, a story that you can go to that, you know, transports you into a place, into a time, and gives you some respite, and you're able to, okay, think of other things besides homework with kids, meal prep and laundry, and did you put the water in the bowl for the dog? um you, or you come to the door and your dog's looking at you really funny. um so um, it's nice to have these types of stories that we can go to. So thank you as an author, for being someone who gives readers that space and that place to go to, that they can pick up uh, the first book in the series, connect, and they're going to pick up the second book, because once you read the first book, you're definitely going to follow the series, especially if you're one of those avid readers, like myself. You can't go out of order. You got to go in order. You got to read the next thing. So definitely we encourage our viewers, those who are watching live and will catch the replay, definitely pick up Birth of a Vixen, and then look out for the second one coming. Colleen, can you share with us a little bit about your writing journey and that process, especially for those viewers who are full of ideas and thinking about maybe taking the plunge or the deep dive, so to speak, into writing?
Um, it is first and foremost, it's a business. When you sit down and try to write out at least 6 pages a day, and you do that for 3 months, and you get a book. Um, those are not my words; those are actually from Stephen King. I just keep it locked in here, and remind myself that just a little bit every day goes a long way. And there are some days where you're not going to make that goal, but then there are other days where you're going to surpass it. And you just have to be easy on yourself, because it's it's a journey I almost want to say loneliness, but you're not really alone when you have so many characters talking in your head at the same time. Um, so just revel in it as much as you can.
Those are some great wisdom nuggets. Um, with aspiring writers, give yourself some grace. Definitely, give yourself some time. Um, even with if you don't meet your goal, but consistency. So if you commit to writing 6 pages a day, you know, see how consistent you can be over time, and you'll be amazed at the product that comes out, at the end. What is something that you have learned about yourself through this process of writing and publishing?
I learned that I have a lot of creative juices flowing in my head, but that I also have a lot of anxiety as well. So I've learned that I need to rely on others. I've learned that it takes a village for this industry to work. It really
Mhm.
does, and to be open about that.
Well, for our viewers and listeners, can you tell us how they can connect and follow you on social media, and where is the best place to get your books?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram every day. For Instagram, it's at Colleen Tews. And then for Facebook, it's at author Colleen Tews because there's already someone else with my name. I didn't get to it fast enough. Um, but my ebooks are available everywhere. Um, so no matter what e-reader you use, you can find it. Um, my paperbacks are available on Amazon. And yeah, I'm open to any DMs or instant messages or anything. I'm here for you guys and gals.
Well, we're so excited, and we just want to thank my guest, Colleen Tews, for spending time with us here this evening on the far side. We wish you continued success with the Vampire Vixen series,
Thank you.
all of the wonderful projects that you've got coming, even your paranormal romance, the Dream Prophet trilogy, book one titled Awakening, and then book two for that series coming out in September 2023. So you've got a lot of creativity flowing. So we're excited when we are able to engage with authors who are just cranking it out. And we're excited to support in any way we can to, drive our readers and viewers to new authors, and then expand genres, because sometimes we can get, we find ourselves into, okay, this is what I read, and these are my favorites and my go-tos, which is great. But we also want to kind of expand and grow in the things that we read. So, take a leap. If you have not picked up an urban fantasy novel, why not drop everything and read one? Pick up Birth of a Vixen. Birth of a Vixen by my dear friend, now friend, Colleen Tews, who's just amazing and who took the time to share with us on this evening. So remember, you see her social media links. She's on Facebook, she's on Instagram, she's on TikTok. Oh my goodness, she's on TikTok. Definitely check her out. And so, congratulations on everything that you have published, everything you've got in the works, and we wish you continued success, Colleen. And for our viewers, those who are watching live and those who will catch us by replay, make sure you're staying tuned to the Farside Co-ed Book Club Facebook page for more author interviews and posts as we celebrate National Poetry Month, School Library Month, and Drop Everything and Read Month during the month of April. And it's not over. We've got some more author interviews coming before the end of the month. So until then, until next time, many roots, many voices are part of the infinite story. So plant your seed and have a great evening.
Thank you.